Our reflection for Monday, the 2nd of November. It's Luke 14, 12 to 14. He said to the one who had invited him, "When you give a luncheon or a dinner, do not invite your friends or your brothers or your relatives or your rich neighbours, in case they may invite you in return, and you would be repaid. But when you give a banquet, invite the poor, the crippled, the lame, and the blind, and you will be blessed, because they cannot repay you, for you will be repaid at the resurrection of the righteous." Hospitality permeates Jesus' Middle Eastern and Jewish cultural world. Abraham entertained God in the desert. Jacob wrestled with God. And Jesus relied on the hospitality of sinners and strangers for his everyday needs. Jesus found hospitality in the most unlikely of places, the human heart. Many Jewish festivals are richly celebrated with food and liturgy. They also often extend to the stranger. Here, the remembrance of God's generosity and deliverance is shared with the world in concrete form, through bread. Philoxenia, the Greek word for hospitality, is made from the words philo, to love, and xenia, the stranger. Hospitality is to love the stranger, to invite them into your trust and into your relationship. In a highly stratified and patronage-driven society, Jesus' call to bless those who cannot repay you was utterly countercultural and a threat to the very fabric of Roman society. Yet we see the importance of hospitality in the Epistles. The church grew and grows through the radical encounter with a God who identifies with the poor and oppressed. The crippled, the lame, and the blind find a home in God and a community that cares and loves them. We cannot repay God's generosity. In the banquet of life, we are confronted with the truth that payment is one-sided. Everything that is really important cannot be bought, earned, or traded. Bread, the basic, everyday foodstuff. Is there anything more delicious than warm, freshly baked bread? Bread reveals so many things. Our interconnectedness, the goodness of the earth to grow the wheat, the work of the farmer in harvesting it, the milling of seed to make flour, the almost mystical combination of flour, yeast and water to make bread, which we share to bring us life. But there is another side to the work of hospitality. We may ask Jesus to enter the hospitality of our hearts, but what about our hearts finding their hospitality in God? During our current deprivation of human company and hospitality, many of us have felt bereft of that sharing of our humanity that is so basic to our identity. My prayer is that we can cultivate our hospitality even in these deprived times. May we continue to support one another and the stranger we may never meet. We share one bread. the hospitality of God. Let no one go hungry, because we too were strangers in a strange land and were led to a place of freedom and plenty. Amen.